Blog Talk Radio.
You are listening to Nat Turner Library Radio, featuring authors Michael Muhammad and Khalifa Muhammad. Nat Turner Library Radio.
You are listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Network. If you are offended by black people discussing our suffering, black people discussing our struggle, and black people talking about solutions to our problems, then this show is not for you. You have been warned. Nat Turner Library Radio.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the latest episode of the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. I'm your host and brother, Michael Muhammad. Today's date is May 3rd, 2020. We are on the heels of the first half of season 4 of the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. Tonight's subject, genetic warfare and race. Genetic warfare and race. Our brother, one of the best scientists I've ever been around, the black god himself, Brother Victer Muhammad, will be on in about 30 minutes to discuss genetic warfare and race. He's going to talk about his experience and the reality of your genes being manipulated. But before we begin, I'd like to say in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I do bear witness there is no God but Allah, who appeared to us in the person of a well-made man by the name of the Master Wali Fard Muhammad, who came 9,000 miles by himself from the holy city of Mecca to teach us what had been lost for 66 trillion years, and that is the knowledge of the God, and that is knowledge of our enemy. And I thank him for finding a worthy student of his, the first begotten of the dead, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is now risen to be the exalted Christ, and I thank him for leaving a reminder in the spirit of truth in our midst, and that is the person who is my teacher and guide, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is in their holy names, that I greet the listening audience of the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. In the words of peace and paradise, we say it in Arabic, Assalamu alaikum. For those who are not familiar, that just means may peace be unto you. And to my Hebrew family who may be listening, shalom. And, of course, it is Ramadan, so Ramadan Mubarak to those believers who are fasting. We are fasting in commemoration of the favor done upon humanity, and that is the revelation of the Holy Quran Sharif, 1,400 years ago, to Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace be upon him. We thank Allah for this holy revelation, for were it not for this favor, we would be in errant loss. And so for those who are celebrating Ramadan, we thank Allah for this great scripture, and we celebrate it by reading passages and the entire Quran during this time period. To my Hebrew Israelite family, shalom. To those brothers and sisters who are from the Christian family, we say praise the Lord. Hotep to my Kemetic Science family. Baragani, this simply means what's the news in Swahili. Pan-Africanist family. Black Power Fist, I want to say Black Power to the Nat Turner Gun Club, Huey P. Newton Gun Club, and to the Black Panther Party. Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz of the Black Attorneys. Chairman Hashem and Akhenaten and Zinga, sister spokesperson Yah Sentawa from the Black Panther Party. Shout out to you. We want to say Rahubat to my family from the Nuwapian Sabian family, Brother Amun Geb, Sister Mayat Raye, K. Ratum Raye, and Sister Attorney Patricia Bassard. And peace to the gods to my 5% family. And to those who are listening from wherever you may be, good evening and welcome to this latest episode on May 3rd, 2020, Genetic Warfare and Race. A good brother, a brother who's been on twice before. I don't think we've ever had a guest on this often in one season, but this is a man worthy of our time, and he's worthy for you to lend an ear. And you know, for those who trust me, if I have a brother on multiple times like this is somebody that you should be listening to. He has information for us. And Brother Victer will be talking about what genetic warfare is and its reality and how it affects you possibly today. The idea of the show tonight is to give you information and you decide how to best use this information to conduct yourself today. But you're listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. For those who are listening live on Blog Talk Radio site, please, 515-605-9762, 515-605-9762 is the number. If you're listening live, if you're listening on the podcast later on in the week, you can go to Nat Turner Library Radio Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and simply catch the archive when it's available on YouTube and also on Vimeo. On YouTube, just simply type in Nat Turner Library Radio Show. You can also go to Instagram by Nat_Turner_Library_Radio, and on Twitter, NTLR-radio. So you can support our guest tonight, brothers and sisters, by going to my site and going to BroMichaelMuhammad.com, and you click on the latest post that's made there, or go to the Black Business Directory section, and you're going to see Brother Victer Muhammad has a book that is on Kindle that you can download. I have done so a few weeks ago. It's called Moments in the Mind of a Minister by Victer Muhammad. Brother is a scientist, and Brother has a lot of good information validating these wonderful teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad scientifically and telling you his mind, if you would, as a minister and also as a scientist. And I suggest you go and support that book because it's something that you're going to be wanting to make reference to and hear from a scientist behind the scenes. There's even a section there for free preview. You can go to Kindle or Amazon and just type in Victer Muhammad, VicterMuhammad, and simply download that at your convenience. We also want to ask you to support Student Minister Abdul Sharif's new magazine, which is called Rise, Rise Magazine. So you go to the website risemaganineco.com. There's a link to that also on my site, BroMichaelMuhammad.com. This is the latest update. All you got to do is click on Rise Magazine, published by Student Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, section of the Black Business Directory on BroMichaelMuhammad.com. You have a section where you can click on it and go and order this magazine. It's episode, or to say issue 1, is currently being published, and they're going to be shipped out on Monday, according to the sister who's taking care of the administrative work for it. This is a do-for-self magazine, Minister Sharif was telling me yesterday. This is about black businesses and those believers and people of our community that are doing for self, and this is to bring recognition to those businesses. I'm sure as time goes on, there'll be a lot more. You can also follow RiseMagazineCO.com on Instagram. All you got to do is go to that Instagram.com and just type in Rise Magazine, okay, and you're going to see all of the links that you can, and also some other good links that are there, such as Sister Walida Muhammad. There's an interview for a link for her. There's also 5 tips to have a successful Ramadan. It's a beautiful Instagram page as well as a website. Please support Rise Magazine and support, of course, myself, your brother, your host. I just want to make it clear. There isn't any secret money. No government agency supports radio programming like this. This comes out of my own pocket. This is something that we do out of the love for the people. And so you can support shows like this by going to my site, BroMichaelMuhammad.com. Click on Shop. We have a lot of different products you can purchase. If you like fragrances, that's fragrant oil from the Eastern world. I have been dealing with these products for over 30 years. We have hand-selected products, some exclusive fragrances that I can ship anywhere in the country. We have some Asiatic T-shirts of good quality. Some of you have been to different events that my wife and I have vended at over the last few months, over the last year, I should say. We have those available ready for ship out. You can also purchase hard copies of my current book, which is Checkmate, The War for the Black Mind, Part 1. The Black Woman, Part 2, should be out in another year. And you can also download the e-version of that book for $10 by also going to Amazon and typing in Michael Muhammad, and then type the word Checkmate, and you'll see the cover, which is a beautiful cover. It's a sister she's a chess piece, and she's holding her head in distress while there's a white hand and a black hand on each side trying to pull at her. This is to commemorate the struggle that our sisters are experiencing and also the black family in general. This book is a 20-year research study into the subjugation of the mind of black people and where we have lost our way. And so there's a lot of research that is validated with resources, not just a monologue at all. And so that's something you can do to support this show. Go to bromichaelmuhammad.com and find something on shop that you like, and we'll be ready to ship out as soon as we get the order. The number again to call in, brothers and sisters, is 515-605-9762. Tonight's subject, genetic warfare and race. The interview will start around 7:30. Tonight's subject is one that is extremely important in the new series of separation. We have a gift coming up in another week. We have confirmed that Dr. Ava Muhammad has confirmed with me this week that she will be on in the next week. We're going to confirm the date and time with you and be on the lookout on the Facebook page, Nat Turner Library Radio Show, and she will be coming here to discuss separation and its urgency at a time like this. Next Thursday will be Brother Stanley Muhammad and Sister Ruth with Part 2 of Betrayed, the broken immigration policy of the United States of America and their heroic experience that they experienced back in 2019 and up until this year. It was such a wonderful episode last week that we had to bring them back again next Thursday. So if you are interested in making a commentary or speaking on the show in reference to the subject, please tune in next Thursday. Brothers and sisters, again, if you have some counsel that you need and you don't have access to a Dianetics auditor or your own personal counsel, one of our guests over a month ago, Counselor Gerald King, a brother who's been on our show a couple of times, a brother who deals specifically with the trauma of the black man and woman of North America and how to deal with therapy. He offered his services initially and then to give you recommendations where you may live. His number again, 678-542-9065. That's 678-542-9065. Or we can also send an email at NIA333JLK@gmail. That's NIYA333, J as in Juliet, L as in Lima, K as in Kilo, @gmail.com. Dr. Umar Johnson, life coaching and homeschooling lessons. He said you can call him direct at 844-4-DR Umar. That's 844-4-DR Umar. And you can text him only. He's not receiving calls at this number, but text 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. If you, during this time of struggle, need some life coaching or homeschooling sessions on how to do that with your children, he had a great episode where we discussed that. He's offering that as well. So brothers and sisters, take advantage of these resources while they're available. We have some states that are trying to loosen up the stay-at-home order, but for those who are wise, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and those who are supporters, he has advised us to not listen to that. Please support, he said, put mask on. He's also said to keep your distancing and take precautions, okay? So we're advising everyone to do the same. If you want to go also to bromichaelmuhammad.com if you need masks. There's two sisters there, We know a lot of people around the country are making them, but you can find those that are shipped. You can see our sister Angel Muhammad out in Ohio, our sister Alicia here in Atlanta, and then we have a sister also here in Atlanta who also makes our African clothing, Sister Bridget John, who Bridget John Clothing. She's also making masks. Brothers and sisters, you got your choices. No excuses not to protect yourself during this time, beloved. You are listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. Tonight's subject again, genetic warfare and race. The great Brother Victer Muhammad has graced us again with an acceptance of our invitation to discuss this important subject, again, from a scientific perspective, so you can know exactly what is capable with the sciences that are available. Nat Turner Library Radio Show updates. Go to Facebook.com, brothers and sisters who are listening. If you want to make a comment, like the page. And also, if you want to have any questions, you can. We're going to have a time period later on where questions will be asked. And please feel free to ask questions and make your comments short, as we're limited on our time on these episodes. 515-605-9762, 515-605-9762. You're listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. Yes.
It is time for the news with Sister Tan.
All right. Right on cue. It is time for the news with Sister Tangela. Sister Tangela, are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, alaikum salam, Sister Tangela. Welcome to the latest episode of the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. How are you feeling, beloved sister?
I'm tired.
Oh, man, that means you've been doing some work.
Well.
Praise be to Allah. I hope that be able to persevere as time goes on. Good. This is the news hour, brothers and sisters. Sister Tangela is here. What you got for us, Sister Tangela?
Okay, the first article, greetings family. The first article is from CNN.com. Universities begin considering the possibility of canceling in-person classes until 2021. A number of universities are beginning to consider the possibility that in-person classes may not resume until 2021. Boston University has already canceled their all in-person summer activities on its primary campus. So they have put together a COVID-19 recovery plan team in which they're going to continue to monitor the situation, monitor the pandemic, and see if possible for classes to open up in August. But if not, then they are scheduled to go ahead and continue remote classes. And a lot of other campuses are doing the same thing across the U.S. They're looking at possibly, if things do not seem to get any better, then a lot of students will be also doing remote classes again in the fall. But I'm sure a lot of them are not looking forward to it. I'm sure just like yourself, you enjoy going to class. So, you don't enjoy going to having class remotely done. So, but that's what's happening at this moment when it comes to schools for the fall.
Well, safety is important. We all have things that we want to do, but it don't make sense trying to go forward with certain activities if people dying left and right. We got, according to the estimates, I think it was 66 or 67,000 people dead so far in the United States, with well over 1.185 million people who have confirmed COVID-19 and over 200,000 recovered so far.
Yeah, so you have cases still that high, trying to open up the campuses and schools is just not the right thing to do.
Not at all. Not with something as potentially deadly as what this is. And as Brother Victer was telling me in a conversation a couple of weeks ago, he said, we're not sure exactly what's all going on with this virus,
That's true. That is true. There's not enough studies been done. That's true.
There's not enough studies done, so we don't know to what extent what's out there, what if it's even what's causing what. You know what I mean? And
what's causing what? That's true.
Right. So we got to take some precautions for those, especially those of us who live in major cities. Take as many precautions that you're able to do. Let's be reasonable about this. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Next article you got for us.
The next article is from KTVB.com. Idaho farmer gave away potatoes for free so they wouldn't go to waste. Craney Farms in Oakley has thousands of potatoes they were expecting to sell. Instead of dumping them, they gave them away. Simply, they made a tough decision because, they're in business to make money. They made a tough decision because they were dealing with the fact that during this COVID-19 pandemic, not having no one to actually buy potatoes in your restaurants, all your restaurants and businesses, grocery stores, places like that, not having to buy potatoes. So they made a decision to go ahead and put on their Facebook page, come get it, free potatoes. So, of course, they had cars lined up for those who wanted to come get potatoes, and they gave it away free.
Potatoes keep for a long time in the right temperature. I think it was a couple months ago. It is a fundamental sin, if I may go that far, Sister Tangela, to throw away good food.
And and the sad reality, I've seen other articles where farmers are actually throwing away food. I'm like, why would you throw away food when you have millions of people who need food every single day? That is
more than ever.
What they did, what this farmer did was amazing because a lot of them have been dumping food and throwing it away or giving it to feed for the animals. They've given it to the people. Here, take it.
Absolutely.
Come get it.
I believe like this, Sister Tangela. The God we serve, whatever religion a person calls themselves, is a God of justice. And let's say the farmers they're losing money. Okay.
They are.
Okay, it's better to take your crop that people need, try to sell it, and if whatever you don't sell, then you give to those who need it.
Give to people.
And I believe the God of justice will bless that farmer with even more abundance the next coming season.
I agree with you on that too. That is true.
Rather than just throwing it away, I mean that's
throwing away.
Outright sin. Yes, ma'am. What else you got for us?
It's an abomination. The next article is from TheGuardian.com. Michigan senator apologizes for wearing a Confederate flag face mask. A Republican politician in Michigan has apologized after wearing a face mask that appeared to depict the Confederate flag, an image offensive to many Americans as a symbol of racism and slavery. Michigan State Senator Dale Zorn wore the mask during a Senate vote at the state capitol in Lansing on Friday. He initially defended his actions, saying his wife had made the mask and that it depicted the flags of Tennessee or Kentucky. He said that even if it was a Confederate flag, we should be talking about teaching our national history in schools, and that's a part of our national history, and it's something we can't just throw away because it's part of our history. So that's something we should be teaching. He should be teaching. But he goes on to apologize. He goes on to apologize for what he did for wearing the flag. He says, and I quote, he says, "I'm sorry for my choice of pattern on the face mask. I wore it yesterday on the Senate floor. I did not intend to offend anyone. However, I apologize that I did, and for that I am sorry. Those who know me best know that I do not support the things this pattern represents." He wrote on Twitter, he said, "My actions were an error in judgment for which there are no excuses, and I will learn from this episode." So he knew. Like he even told his wife. He said, "I would probably raise some eyebrows, but it's not a Confederate flag. It's the flag of Tennessee or Kentucky." Come on, man.
Well,
really?
I grew up in the mountains
2020.
of New York. And I grew up in the mountains of New York. And a lot of people don't know this about the Northeast, but we got redneck crackers up there too. And it ain't just the deep South. In fact, the first time I was called nigger was by a little white boy in second grade. I remember his name. His name was Richard Regan. I'll never forget that. And he had the nerve. He got in trouble. For it, and then he had the nerve to come back to me and say, "Well, the word nigger don't mean this and that." And here's the bottom line, Sister Tangela. We don't have the ability, black people, in 2020 to make your enemy your friend. If they want to commemorate and celebrate their heritage, which is quote-unquote or hidden message, if you would, for making black people their slaves again. The Confederacy wanted black people to be slaves. It's simple as that.
Yes, it is. Simple as that.
There's no way you can't clean that up. There's no redo of that history. There's they considered us to be spawn of monkeys, even though they're closer to monkey than us. They considered us spawn of monkeys. They considered us, all of that is wrapped up in the Confederate ideology.
In the Confederate ideology, exactly.
My statement to anyone who's listening to this podcast: you can't change that enemy. You can't reform devil. The devil, that devil cannot be reformed. All you can do is separate from them and let them do their thing, and we do our thing. That's all you can do.
That's true.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The next article is from WeBuyBlack.com. Black churches are growing food, empowering black communities and farmers. How we buy black. Grocery shelves are empty across the country. A clear sign that black people must become self-reliant. Well, before the Rona craze, however, a network of black churches chose self-determination for black communities through agriculture. The Black Church Food Security Network is empowering black communities, farmers, and congregations. What they're doing is they're working with congregations to establish gardens and agricultural projects on black church-owned land. The network links farmers with congregations for niche farming markets which take place inside of local houses of worship. They conduct asset mapping of black churches and the neighborhoods where they are located to help leverage their resources and build power for historically marginalized black communities. The Reverend Dr. Herbert Brown is the founder of the Black Church Food Security Network, and he's a Baltimore native. He knows firsthand the challenges families facing access in food. He understood that black people have no ownership over the food or the food system they interact with, and that's why he chose to build something that we can put inside our community. And I think this is an awesome program. And I hope many black churches will get on board and start doing something like this, because we can build gardens everywhere. And there's plenty of black churches that have lots of land that they can actually grow a garden.
I remember Sister Chandler was speaking many years ago with a pastor of a big old church. I don't know how many people he has in his church here in Atlanta. And I asked him this very question. I said, hey, how would you feel about remember that program several years ago I tried to develop, never came around to it, where we had the black churches.
Black Farmers Network.
The Black Farmers Network. That's exactly what it was. It seems like somebody ran with that idea, and I'm happy that they did, because the black church parking lots are pretty empty during the week, including Saturdays, and
that'd be great for a Black Farmers Market.
For black farmers to sell their product. In this case, this article is dealing specifically with these churches now growing their own food for their congregation and the immediate community. Yes. This is all initial stages of separation, brothers and sisters.
It is.
We have no choice right now but to do for ourselves.
Do for ourselves. We
got to grow our own animals. We got to grow our own eggs and chickens and lambs and turkeys and whatever we consume, we have to make it or grow it. The enemy's world is dying and dead right now as we speak, and we have to support these. So shout out to these particular churches and part of that BCFFN, I believe it's called. Brothers and sisters, you can find these articles on our Facebook page at Nat Turner Library Radio Show, so you can read them for yourself, so you think we're not just making up this stuff. Do you have any more articles for us tonight?
Yeah, I do. The next article is from HuffingtonPost.com. How New Zealand stamped out the coronavirus. New Zealand lifted its strict lockdown while many restrictions remain in place. The economy will restart nearly 5 weeks after it was shuttered. Businesses, restaurants, schools are all beginning to reopen with limitations in place, and estimated 1 million New Zealanders will return to work. Now, the reason why New Zealand has been able to be open pretty much fully is because they have embraced the science of, they shut their country as soon as they had the first 100 cases.
Okay.
They shuttered everything. They completely shut down everything, and they only had 100 cases. So they was able to pretty much restrict the impact of the pandemic in New Zealand without seeing so many deaths. But they're reopened now, and they are doing a great job of getting flattening their curve and getting over this whole pandemic. And hopefully other countries will be able to do the same.
Well, you know, it helps that New Zealand is an island, so
yes, it does.
Helps
as
well. Right, so you know, we got borders with a lot right. So you know,
and a small population.
A very small population, right? You know,
right.
We got
the last article is from MSN.com. Willie Wilson gives $1 million to folks unemployed by coronavirus. Willie Wilson is a two-time mayor candidate with donated $1 million to help people who have lost their jobs due to the new coronavirus. He's a self-made millionaire. He will distribute payments using the honor system. Senior citizens and people who are either unemployed due to the pandemic or homeless can apply to receive support at drwilliewilsonfoundation.org.
So that site is drwilliewilsonfoundation.org. And he wants you to go there. He says you can text on his site. He says you can text give 25 or any other amount to, if you want to make a donation, to 312-818-4975. Follow the prompts. He wants to help people who are impoverished in the black community. He's according to his site, he's a philanthropist. Shout out to that brother for trying to help our people. Brothers and sisters, we got to help each other. If you have stuff that people need, help them. If you have knowledge that's going to help people, help them. Was that the last article, Sister Angela?
It was. And check on your elderly in your community, please. You have any elderly in your community, please check on those people.
They are a very endangered group, our elders.
Yes.
Please, brothers and sisters, the enemy wants them to leave us so that way they ain't got to pay them Social Security because they ain't got no Social Security money for them. So please check on our elders, brothers and sisters. Sister Tangela, as always, we thank you. Thank you for the news. May Allah continue to bless you.
To you.
Ramadan Kareem to you. And thank you, brothers and sisters, as always. It's important to know what's going on in the world today. And so what I'm suggesting you do, brothers and sisters, go look at these articles and learn the information for yourself. All you got to do is go to Nat Turner Library Radio Show on Facebook, and you can click on there and find these articles. Coming up after these brief messages, the guest of the hour, our brother, who's been on this season more than any other guest in any season we've ever had. That's because he has some important information for us, brothers and sisters. Brother Victer Muhammad, support him by buying his Amazon Kindle book. I have it. It's called Moments in the Mind of a Minister. Brother is a great man, and I want you to support him, brothers and sisters, by buying that on Amazon. There's a link on my site, Bro Michael Muhammad. Coming up after this, the interview. You're listening to Nat Turner Library Radio Show.
Stay tuned for Nat Turner Library Radio.
Attention, please. Attention, please. Final Call Radio is now live. I repeat, Final Call Radio is now live. Final Call Radio is a 24-hour streaming service featuring the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Hear messages from the minister 24 hours a day. Hear news reports and updates from around the country on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Take us everywhere. Log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button. Final Call Radio, Final Call News, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
This is your sister, Angel Muhammad, offering to the public a quality cotton protective washable face mask. It comes in various colors and sizes to fit your style. For more information, please contact me at 937-624-9764 or visit my Instagram page at I Am Learning at Home. This is your sister, Angel Muhammad, offering to the public a quality cotton protective washable face mask. It comes in various colors and sizes to fit your style. For more information, please contact me at 937-624-9764 or visit my Instagram page at I Am Learning at Home.
Nat Turner Library Radio.
Bellevue Spa wants to help you with your healthy journey. You can call us at 678-769-5772, or you can check out the Healthy Quest tab on BellevueSpa.com. With the coronavirus running rapid through the countries, we ship nationwide, offering immune-boosting products such as elderberry syrup, sea moss gel and supplements, and don't forget your date syrup. Can all be purchased at BellevueSpa.com, or you can call us at 678-769-5772 to place your order. Sea moss is a great anti-inflammatory. It has anti-cancer properties. 92 of the 103 minerals the body needs to boost your immune, and it aids in weight loss. We call it a superfood. Elderberry is great for colds, cough, builds the immune system. It eases sinus pain, back and leg pain, nerve pain, and chronic fatigue syndrome. Elderberry helps with constipation, hay fever, and allergies. Call Bellevue Spa at 678-769-5772 to place an order, or check out our website at BellevueSpa.com, BellejuSpa.com, and check out the Healthy Quest tab.
FinalCall.com. FinalCall.com. One word, FinalCall.com. The award-winning website for the realest and most accurate black news available on the planet. FinalCall.com. Fair, reasonable, accurate, and inclusive. We are a unifying website. FinalCall.com. Go there today.
Stay tuned for Nat Turner Library Radio.
Attracted some of the most brilliant, award-winning musicians and artists.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Chilling with the president, he let me in the White House. Back to the castle with the minister.
Support this project from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan by going to Let'sChangeTheWorldMusic.com. That's Let'sChangeTheWorldMusic.com. You may also simply type in LCTWMusic.com. That's LCTWMusic.com. Support your own, support yourself.
The internet is full of half-truths and all-out lies. We've all seen them, and many people on social media complaining about it. Here's your chance to show and prove. WorldAfropedia.com is a black-owned and operated encyclopedia. There are several thousand articles, but we need help. We can't uncover all the truth ourselves. So please, join us and become a writer, editor, or blogger for WorldAfropedia.com today. Every little bit counts. We owe it to the future generations to put the truth out there. Visit WorldAfropedia.com, the African-centered encyclopedia, a global database of African knowledge for the purpose of bringing about global African wisdom and understanding. WorldAfropedia.com.
Nat Turner Library Radio.
Nat Turner Library Radio.
Nat Turner Library Radio. We're back. May 3rd, 2020. Nat Turner Library Radio Show, 515-605-9762. 515-605-9762. Your host here, Brother Michael Muhammad, author, producer. But title I care about is just being your brother. When you are a brother or a sister, you're in the struggle with the person. You're not over them, you're just fighting alongside with them. So I am your brother. Brothers and sisters, genetic warfare is the subject tonight. You've heard him on twice this season. Some of you may be wondering why. I say this brother needs to tell us some information. He tells us this out of the love and kindness of his heart. He has a lot for us to learn from him, and you can support our guest tonight. Okay, Moments in the Mind of a Minister is the name of his book. Was written many years ago. It's available on Amazon for download. I have a link to it on our Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com, type in Nat Turner Library Radio Show, like the page, go through the post. You'll see a link to the Amazon thing for Kindle. Okay? You can also support by going to bromichaelmuhammad.com. That's my site. And click on where it says Ministry underneath the Black Business Directory. And you'll see a link for the Amazon page for the Kindle download, if you would. This book, brothers and sisters, is a wonderful book. I have been reading it off and on since having it. And just before we introduce our guest again, just wanted to read the excerpt as a prep for tonight's show. And basically, brothers and sisters, this is Brother Victer Muhammad's statement, if you would, about science in general. We read a part of this before, and so this is under the section in his book, which is titled, Is There a Need for Reinterpretation of Science and Research? And it says, an unease or discomfort about them disallowed me to accept the norm. He's referencing the profession and educational concentration. It's caused me to be ostracized and criticized by others who were either blinded by the reality of the situation or who knew but benefited. I have believed for quite some time there is a problem in science and research, but could not discern just what or where it lay. However, as time progressed, as did opportunities to move upward in the system of science and research arena, I was able to see the intricacies of its workings. This furthered my belief and explained why I had been feeling this way. The systems of science and research are rotten to the core. And that, in that spirit, this is in that book, Mind of a Minister. And without further delay, our brother, Victer Muhammad, who has been on before, let's introduce him. Brother Victer, are you there, sir?
I am here. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. How are you?
I am doing well by Allah's permission. Thank you for asking. And Ramadan Mubarak to you and your family.
Ramadan Kareem, sir, to you and your family.
Thank you, beloved, and welcome again to another hard-hitting subject. I thank you from the staff and from the founder of the Nat Turner Library Radio Show, who thanks you for your participation, Brother Khalif Khalifa, who is the founder of this great radio program. Thanks you for your participation tonight. So, Brother Victer, you have been on before, so you are a veteran here at Nat Turner Library Radio Show. No need for me to talk too much. I'm going to leave you with giving us the classroom, and I'll be taking notes. Tonight's subject, genetic warfare and race. How shall we begin, beloved?
Well, I do better in response to questions because, thought travels on radio waves, and you have probably already received one. So what question would you like to begin the interview with?
Praise be to Allah. Well, one thing that comes to mind is the basic sciences of the ability for genetic warfare and race to even be connected. Viruses, bacteria, germs, they all have a DNA trait. So my question is this. Let's start it off with the general question. Can a specific race or attribute of a person's DNA be targeted genetically?
Yes, without question.
Praise be to Allah. And that opens up the floodgate, if you would, of questions. By the way, brothers and sisters who are listening, 515-605-9762. We're going to open up the line shortly for questions, and I'll be going on when we have a break to see if you have any questions or comments for our guest. So now, have you, in your experience with the biomedical research, ever been a part of any research into how human attributes within the DNA can be manipulated or, if you would, isolated, if I may use that term?
Yes, sir. I have not worked on the actual projects where we developed biological or germ warfare, but because I've been involved, in molecular biology and genetic engineering for probably 30 years now, I knew that the technology existed 30 years ago. And for about 27 years, I have had this subject matter in mind to bring to the public. But the truth out of season in many instances is more dangerous than a lie. And so I don't move on my own accord. I wait until I'm instructed to move or until I'm instructed to speak. Then I speak. And this is why I appear fearless when I speak or move, because I know that there is a power who is with me, who protects me as I venture into these subjects and these actions. But it is important that I only move or speak when I'm instructed to. And it is now time to discuss this subject, and so we'll do it tonight, inshallah. Now, there is a science called molecular biology and cellular biology, cellular histochemistry, molecular histochemistry, genetics, molecular genetics, and so forth. In the genetics of the human being, you have a set of genes and antigens called the major histocompatibility complex. In the major histocompatibility complex, you have what are called human leukocyte antigens 1 and 2. These are genetic markers that are specific to different what are called races. There are several of these so-called races on the earth. Some people call them Black, Indian, American Indian, Asian, Hispanic, Caucasian, and the like. These are all called races. And in each of these races, the major histocompatibility complex, in them, there are ones that are common among all of the so-called races. Then there are genes that are specific to an individual race. To give you an idea of the specificity of these genes, you can have a population of people, let's say, in a country in Africa. I won't name a country because I don't want to appear to be picking on or using them as a pawn. But let's say any country on the continent of Africa or in Asia. But in one village, you can have a set of genes in that population that does not exist in the population that is 40 kilometers away. And therefore, if a person wanted to target that particular population in that village in a country in Africa, then what you would do is go into the laboratory and you would use specific enzymes. You would get a cell from one of the people in that population. You would lyse that cell. Lyse is just another word for cut. But in molecular biology, we use the term lyse. And there are enzymes that specifically cut certain sites on the surface of a cell. And it will only cut that surface. This is why, this is how specific this science is. And it will cut that cell, and that cell is now open. And then, because you know the location, I'm not going to get too technical because it would take too long to explain it. So I'm going to speak on the surface level in a general way. So, but you would take, let's say a coronavirus or a member of the coronavirus family, and there are many of them. A member of the herpes family, there are many of them. You could take a member of Ebola or HIV, the human immunodeficiency virus, and there's several strands. You would take that virus and you would cut that virus at a certain point in its molecular structure. And because you know where you cut both the human cell and the virus, and then you would get another enzyme called an annealing enzyme. This is sort of like if you can imagine unzipping a zipper, then you can imagine taking your two fingers, and zipping the thing again, bringing the zipper up. That would be similar to the action of what is called annealing, annealing. And there are enzymes that specifically anneal one strand of nucleic acid, like DNA, to another strand of nucleic acid called DNA. So now where the cell was open because you lysed it, you now take that piece of virus and insert it into the cell. Now both ends of the cell form a circle again. And now you have that particular virus or that particular bacteria, or you can have a poison that is produced by a bacteria, the gene for that poison, you can have that annealed to the cell. Now, that cell will contain a key on the surface of that cell called a receptor. Okay. And if aerosol place this, make about several billion copies of this one cell. I'm going to speed this up because there's no way I can cover all the technical aspects of this in this time period. because it generally takes people up to a PhD really to learn these kinds of things, and then you have to do a postdoc for about a year or two to really become good at it and understand it.
Yes, sir.
So then what you do, you put this in a cell culture media, that one copy of it, you place it in cell culture media, and you put it in there for about 18 hours. And what that does is that the cell the cell will begin to make more copies of itself. This, once you get that done, you take it and you put it in an aerosol, a spray that is lighter than air. And that aerosol can be taken and you put it in the vent of an air conditioner where you know a certain race of people will be sitting. And it can be every population of the human family in that room. But it will only target the people who have those particular antigens in their body, those receptors, those particular antigens in their body. Everyone else can inhale it, and it can go into their body. But it will have no effect because they don't have the specificity for that particular agent or that biological agent that you just created. They don't have the specificity where that agent you created can attach to the cell in that person's body. Only the people who have the HLA antigens or receptors will be affected. Only that person. So some years ago, we now know where the gene lies on the chromosome for hair color. We know where the gene lies on the chromosome for weight gain. Therefore, a gene can be, a biological agent using a virus or a bacteria can be manufactured to target hair color. And if we use the gene that codes for red hair, attach that gene into that biological agent from a virus or a bacteria, put it in an aerosol, and spray it in a room, it will only target people who have red hair and only people with red hair.
Wow.
Now, this may sound space age, but I'm telling you about technology that's 40 years old. I've known this for at least 32 years myself, but it wasn't time for me to speak on it, and so I didn't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. May I ask a question, Brother Victor? Reference
yes,
to
sir,
that?
of course. Yeah.
That was a lot of information, and I took some notes. The annealing process. So you mean I want to? This is really a good question, and I'm going to go to the audience in just a moment. For those who are listening, brothers and sisters, you're listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show with Brother Victer Muhammad. We're talking genetic warfare and race. 515-605-9762. 515-605-9762 is the number. If you'd like to be a part of this conversation, we're going to go to the lines shortly. Brother Victor, I have a question. So let me make sure I got this correct. You can actually anneal, if I'm using the word right, to other attributes other than race. You can go as specific as hair color, you had mentioned, or weight even. Wow. Am I thinking correctly on that?
Well, yes, because I think about 35 years ago, the gene was cloned and isolated for weight gain. And to prove the experiment, we attached the gene to the genome of mouse embryos. And we re-implanted those mouse embryos into a surrogate female and allowed her to carry them to term. And the genes in which the weight gain gene was, the embryos into which the weight gain gene was inserted into the mouse embryo, they were about 70% larger than the mice wherein the gene was not inserted. So that's how we knew that it was the proper gene. So yes, sir. And so also, to give you an idea of the level of specificity of molecular biology and gene warfare, a person with this knowledge can make a biological agent to only target black men with black hair. That's how specific it can be. If you pay attention and go back 20 years at the numbers of people who were being reported in this country who were affected by HIV, you see, the largest number population were African American females.
Yes.
Okay, so you move up 20 years with the advent of what is being called coronavirus or COVID-19, and I have my suspicions about that. I haven't spoken publicly about it because I don't think it's time yet. But I don't swallow it, and I don't go along with it. I do not believe it. I do not believe what is being reported. I worked with coronavirus 30 years ago at the National Institutes of Health, and what we found was that the phenotypical characteristics of what an infection would be just above the common cold. It wasn't virulent enough to kill anybody. But I won't deal with that now. I'll go back to my subject. And so now move 20 years later with what is being reported as coronavirus. And according to CNN and Fox and the news, it's mostly deleterious to African Americans. I believe they're reporting African American males.
Yes.
So what is it about the African American male that makes this thing that's being reported as coronavirus or COVID-19, what makes it target black males with such specificity? That is a question that the African American community should be asking. And the African American community should be contacting their mayors in the local city, their local representatives in the city council. They should be contacting their governors, and they should be contacting their state House representatives as well as their U.S. representatives and senators. See, well, I won't go there. So those are the kinds of that's the kind of specificity, Brother Michael, that this technology possess.
Wow, that is a lot. Brother Victer, thank you. Brothers and sisters who are listening, 515-605-9762. You're listening to Nat Turner Library Radio Show. This is your host, Brother Michael Muhammad, on here with conversation with Brother Victer Muhammad, biomedical scientist, agricultural research scientist, and he's talking about a subject here, genetic warfare and race, and the specificities of how we can be targeted. Some weeks ago, Brother Victer, I'm not sure if you heard that episode on the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. I got a hold to a tweet and a letter from former president of Iran, President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. I'm sure you're probably familiar with him. He's not the president anymore. And he made a statement in this letter, and I read it on here. because in the early stages of this coronavirus pandemic, he stated something similar to what you stated. He said, and I just want to read a part of it, he said, "It is clear to the world," this is his words, "that the mutated coronavirus was produced in the lab, manufactured by the warfare stockhouses of biological war belonging to world powers, and that it constitutes a threat on humanity more destructive than any other weapons that target humanity." He even went further, and that's the tweet. He even went further and he discussed it's a long letter, but he discussed what his laboratories in Iran had somehow checked the DNA of this virus or something like that, and they saw that it was some sort of mutated or a created biological weapon. And so as you were talking, I couldn't help but reminisce on, and I have this letter sitting here on my desk, because I always want to make reference to it should it come a need for. And I thought it prudent to bring it in this conversation only because it reminds me of what you just stated, in that there's a high potential, since there are black men like ourselves who have a higher affinity for this coronavirus and other diseases and other viruses and other things that have happening to us. It begs to question, has there been a laboratory to reverse test the DNA of these things? Now that we know that they can do that, and they can aerosol it, they can spray it in AC systems, are there other delivery methods that you heard of other than aerosol? Is there any other? Can things be put in water supply, for example, or things like that? Can there be other delivery methods other than aerosol?
Well, once you understand science and mathematics, you realize that nothing is impossible. So whenever you hear someone use the word "that's impossible," then you know that you're speaking with a person who doesn't understand, because nothing is impossible. The problem you would encounter in making something to be delivered via food or drink is that generally it's going to have to be a chemical. And a chemical is not a biological agent. A biological agent, the term suggests that it is something that's living. A virus, a bacteria, protozoa, a prion, a fungus. And so the other factor that would have to be taken into consideration if you're going to make something that's going to be consumed or ingested is that it would have to be encapsulated with lignin or some kind of protein that can survive the acid of the stomach and the enzymes of the small intestine and large intestine. So generally, it would need to be injected or inhaled, via the nose, because you have a lot of receptors for different organisms and proteins in the nasal passage and the mucosal membranes of the back of the throat and the nose. So when I use the term specificity, that is not an accident. This science is very, very, very sensitive. And so I am convinced, I don't have proof because I haven't sought it, that when people take flu shots, when people take vaccines, when people take immunizations, I believe that they are being inoculated. I believe that African Americans, I believe that people on the continent of Africa, I believe that we are being inoculated with biological agents when we take vaccines, immunizations, flu shots. I'll give you another example. I used to do HIV outreach education. I did research. And one of the rules was my cousin.
Yeah, you're breaking up there, brother. See if we can get closer to it there. We're losing you.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah, that's much better. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Okay. Continue what you're saying. You had mentioned inoculation, and then the signal went down.
Okay. I believe that people are being inoculated with under the guise of vaccines, flu shots, and immunizations. I advise people not to take any of them. You are grown, and you're free to do as you want. But I wouldn't take them if I were you. I'm not saying that vaccines in itself or the technology behind vaccines are bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that until you produce them, or until you have someone who you trust produce them, I would not take them. What I was saying...
Yes, I was going to say I agree. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What I was saying when my voice went out was when I had a contract in the state of Florida to do HIV prevention, testing, outreach, education, and research, part of my deliverables was to give out free condoms. But this wasn't part of my work, and I wasn't being paid for it. But every other Thursday, I would do a lecture in my building. And in the lecture, I would say to people, I said, here we have free condoms. But if I were you, I would go to the part of the city where the majority of the population are wealthy Caucasians. I would go to the drugstore, and that's where I would purchase my condoms.
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would not accept free condoms from a health department or a clinic. I wouldn't.
That reminds me, Brother Victor, of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated in shopping in their side of town, because they're not going to poison themselves, when it comes to food in general. If I remember that correctly from, I believe, How to Eat to Live or Message to the Black Man, one or the other. Praise be to Allah. This is amazing stuff, Brother Victor. This is amazing stuff. Are you able to take some questions from the audience, Brother Victor, or comments in a very small amount? I'm only going to allow for one question or comment. Do you have time for me to check on that?
If you don't mind, I don't mind, because we have to get this information to humanity, because humanity is suffering because the people don't know.
Yes, sir. Well, praise be to Allah. Brothers and sisters who are listening live today on May 3rd, 2020, I'm going to take a moment to go through this list. We are on live with Brother Victer Muhammad, Animal and Agricultural Research Scientist, Biomedical Research Scientist. He's talking with us about genetic warfare and race. It's bigger than race, that's for sure. You can be targeted for any attribute you have, and that technology is 30 years old. You're listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. Brother Victor, you want to hold tight for a moment, and we'll get to see if we have any questions from the audience?
Yes, sir, please.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you again, Brother Victor. Hold on, we'll put you on hold. Brothers and sisters, if you have any questions or comments, please limit them to one question or comment. Make it quick, and give me your name and your phone number when I get to you, and that way we can make sure we make this move pretty quickly. You're listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with more questions and comments and discussion. Genetic warfare and race. You're listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show.
Stay tuned for Nat Turner Library Radio.
Attention, please. Attention, please. Final Call Radio is now live. I repeat, Final Call Radio is now live. Final Call Radio is a 24-hour streaming service featuring the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Hear messages from the minister 24 hours a day. Hear news reports and updates from around the country on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Take us everywhere. Log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button. Final Call Radio, Final Call News, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
This is your sister, Angel Muhammad, offering to the public a quality cotton protective washable face mask. It comes in various colors and sizes to fit your style. For more information, please contact me at 937-624-9764 or visit my Instagram page at I Am Learning at Home. This is your sister, Angel Muhammad, offering to the public a quality cotton protective washable face mask. It comes in various colors and sizes to fit your style. For more information, please contact me at 937-624-9764 or visit my Instagram page at I Am Learning at Home.
Nat Turner Library Radio.
Bellevue Spa wants to help you with your healthy journey. You can call us at 678-769-5772, or you can check out the Healthy Quest tab on BellevueSpa.com. With the coronavirus running rapid through the countries, we ship nationwide, offering immune-boosting products such as elderberry syrup, sea moss gel and supplements, and don't forget your date syrup. Can all be purchased at BellevueSpa.com, or you can call us at 678-769-5772 to place your order. Sea moss is a great anti-inflammatory. It has anti-cancer properties, 92 of the 103 minerals the body needs to boost your immune, and it aids in weight loss. We call it a superfood. Elderberry is great for cold, cough, builds the immune system. It eases sinus pain, back and leg pain, nerve pain, and chronic fatigue syndrome. Elderberry helps with constipation, hay fever, and allergies. Call Bellevue Spa at 678-769-5772 to place an order, or check out our website at BellevueSpa.com, BelleJuspa.com, and check out the Healthy Quest tab.
FinalCall.com. FinalCall.com. One word, FinalCall.com. The award-winning website for the realest and most accurate black news available on the planet. FinalCall.com. Fair, reasonable, accurate, and inclusive. We are a unifying website. FinalCall.com. Go there today.
Stay tuned for Nat Turner Library Radio.
Attracted some of the most brilliant, award-winning musicians and artists.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Chilling with the president, he let me in the White House. Back to the captain with the minister.
Support this project from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan by going to letschangetheworldmusic.com. That's letschangetheworldmusic.com. You may also also simply type in lctwmusic.com. That's lctwmusic.com. Support your own, support yourself.
The internet is full of half-truths and all-out lies. We've all seen them, and many people on social media complaining about it. Here's your chance to show and prove. WorldAfropedia.com is a Black-owned and operated encyclopedia. There are several thousand articles, but we need help. We can't uncover all the truth ourselves. So please, join us and become a writer, editor, or blogger for WorldAfropedia.com today. Every little bit counts. We owe it to the future generations to put the truth out there. Visit WorldAfropedia.com, the African-centered encyclopedia, a global database of African knowledge for the purpose of bringing about global African wisdom and understanding. WorldAfropedia.com.
Stay tuned for Nat Turner Library Radio.
Greetings. My name is Sister Alicia Muhammad. I am the founder of Elegant Mass Creations here in Atlanta, Georgia. As you all may know, all around the world today, many people of different race, color, and creed are being affected by COVID-19. And the reality of the matter is, whether you believe it or not, thousands and millions of people are dying from this virus. Our company is created simply to provide the world with a safer tomorrow. How can we flatten the curve? How can we protect our families? We must provide each other the necessities, the essentials. And right now, masks are our number one essential. We need to protect ourselves. Many of us can't help but to go outside. So how do we prevent the spread? Protect yourself. For more information, please visit our Facebook page at Elegant Mass Creations or simply dial 678-598-3353. And remember, we provide not only elegance, sturdy, quality material masks, but we provide affordability.
Here to tell you about my research study. The research study titled Checkmate, The War for the Black Mind, Part 1, The Black Woman. The long-awaited first research study titled is designed for the original man and woman of North America and those.
All right, and we're back, brothers and sisters. We had to cut that commercial break short. You are listening live with the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. Today's date is May 3rd, 2020. We want to be respectful of our guest time, and we got a few questions and comments here. Brother Victer, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
Praise is due to Allah. All right. Well, first up at bat, we got our brother who was our guest last week, Brother Stanley. Brother Stanley, assalamu alaikum, sir. Are you there, sir?
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Michael. I am, by Allah's grace, and I would like to greet you and Brother Victor in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Brother Victor, this interview was very, very enlightening and very, very insightful, particularly looking at the current pandemic that we're suffering from right now with COVID-19. And I want to thank Allah for you being so gracious and sharing with us the many years of your labor, your sacrifice, and your studying, and availing it to us as a people that we may be able to protect ourselves from these viruses that's actually out in the atmosphere. So real quick, I'm reading a book, Murder by Injection, the story of the medical conspiracy against America. And there's a statement that was made, and it really leads me to my question based upon the statement you made. It's on page 132. It says, another practitioner, Dr. W.B. Clark of Indiana finds that cancer was practically unknown until compulsory vaccination with cowpox vaccine began to be introduced. He said he never saw a case of cancer in an unvaccinated person. Does that have anything to do with you actually making a statement about that you would not recommend us getting vaccines? And thank you very much, brother, for your scholarship and your love for us as a people. Assalamu alaikum.
I'm familiar with that book, Brother Stanley. It's by Eustace Mullins. It's a pink burgundy looking book. I know that book. I have that book.
That's correct.
And prior to the late 1960s, cancer was pretty much non-existent in people of color. Cancer did not exist on that continent that is referred to as Africa. Cancer did not exist in people who were called African Americans until the late 1960s, beginning into the 1970s, when we began taking all forms of birth control, our women, until we began taking the flu shots and taking vaccinations. It was begun to be mandatory, I believe, in the late 1960s, early 1970s, that if you were going to go to school, your child had to be vaccinated. Well, now, your question is basically you're asking, is there a correlation between, you didn't use these words, but is there a correlation between vaccines, vaccinations, and cancer? Unquestionably, yes, there is a correlation. And yes, I am saying that when you go to get these vaccines and whatnot, they do correlate into cancer. As a matter of fact, I'm about to make a statement that I do not have proof, but I do have evidence. And I won't go into the difference between proof and evidence. You can research that yourself. But yes, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, maybe 60 years ago, told the African American female to stop going to Caucasian male OBGYN.
That's correct.
But they have not stopped, and that's also correct. And so today, when you go up and down the east coast of the United States, particularly in the southern states, from North Carolina down to Florida, you will find that it is almost impossible to find an African-American female who has not been diagnosed with fibroid cyst or ovarian cyst.
Right.
And they have either already had a hysterectomy or an ovarectomy, or the doctor has told them that they should take one. And these things, in my opinion, come from viral infections. And we did an experiment, and I won't go into the details over this phone, but you can contact us via email, and we'll give you some information. But we did some experiments probably 20 years ago where we gave them a dietary supplement to treat, well, to see if it would work. And it caused the cysts to disappear.
Wow.
Because we believe that they were viral in nature. And the substance we gave them did have antiviral properties. And so a hard head can lead you to death. And I don't mean spiritual death. I mean literal death. It's not good to be hard-headed, you see. When someone with wisdom gives you advice, it is prudent that you should listen.
Praise be to Allah.
Thank you for that. Beautiful.
Thank you, brother Stanley. Brother Victor, do you have? There's a couple of people that had a question. Do you have a email that you'd like to divulge with the audience? Should they like to contact you?
Yes, I'm going to be quick. It's Victer, Victer Muhammad, Muhammad @gmail.com. Victer.Muhammad@gmail.com. Victor is spelled with an E, Victer.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Brother Stanley. We look forward to interviewing you again for part 2 of the Betrayed next week. Thank you, Brother Stanley. We'll let you go. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right, Brother Victor, thank you for that section there. We have another brother who has a question for you, and we're going to get to him. Brother Eric, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak.
Wa alaikum salam, Ramadan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Victor.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
My question for you is a two-part question. Brother Michael?
No, I was going to introduce you as the CEO of Nature's V. Brothers and sisters who are listening, this is him. Come on, brother. Yes, sir, continue.
Thank you so very much, Brother Michael. This month is National Lupus Month, and we at the Nature's V Autoimmune Diseases Foundation for Women of Color have a question for you as it relates to autoimmune diseases, 75% of which affect women of color. When you look at those type of statistics across all the people who have autoimmune diseases, would it fall in the category of something that could be of the nature of genetic warfare? And my second part of my question is, how can we support you in your scientific endeavor to help us as a people? Could you please give us that information?
Yes.
Good question. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, both good questions. Number one, one thing to understand about a disease is anything that happens to the body or the mind that puts you at a point where you're no longer at ease. That's why it's called a dis-ease. So a disease is not as monstrous and terrible as we think. Anything that causes you to no longer be at ease is termed a disease. So what is basically described as lupus or any of the autoimmune diseases, there are many things that can cause that. There are things in municipal water that can cause that. Municipal meaning city water that can cause that. There are many things in the atmosphere that can cause that. Living near power lines. If you go into many of the black communities, you have your very, very high voltage power lines running through the middle of the black community. You have your dump sites that are in the black community. The diet of members of the African American community is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. The things that we eat on a daily basis, the chemicals that our women place in their hair to relax their hair are deleterious and can cause genetic abnormalities that can be termed lupus. Lupus is a group of things that happen in the body at the same time. And therefore, when you put those groups of things together, it is called lupus. But it's not necessarily something that you catch. And so, it might not be a specific biological agent that is the cause of what is termed lupus. But when someone has taught you how to improperly eat for 460 years, then you go out now and do the very things that you do to bring the disease on yourself. Now, how do you assist us in the research that we're doing? Because we have solutions for all of this. I will drop something on you that we said a couple of years ago, and I mentioned it a few minutes ago. Vaccines in their nature is not bad. But when you have an enemy who has been killing you for 6,400 years, then why would you trust them to make a vaccine for you when you know about the Tuskegee experiment? You are familiar with the smallpox blankets being given to our brothers, the Red Indians, and so forth and so on. Ebola didn't come out of a monkey. That's not true. We tried to infect chimpanzees and monkeys at NIH 30 years ago with HIV, and we couldn't get it to work. So all of these are lies. So I know how to make a vaccine. I know how to develop antibodies. I know how to make antivenom to combat snake bites. These are all things that I've done. So making a vaccine is not complicated. So if you want to support us, contact us through email, victer.muhammad@gmail.com. We have a website where you can go and make donations or contact us. That's natures, natures, -v, the letter V.com. And we also have another website, helpatitsbest.net. helpatitsbest.net. And the last one is lsow.org. That is the nonprofit that I started in 1994 for doing HIV/AIDS research, for doing all kinds of research that are caused by viral infections.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Eric, does that conclude your question or comment, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All praises due to Allah. Thank you, Brother Eric. Brothers and sisters, once again, that site is lsow.com. Is that right, Brother Victer?
No. lsow.org.
.org. Yes, sir. I
it's
have
a nonprofit.
That nonprofit, lsow.org, brothers and sisters. natures-v.com. And these sites are also available on my site, bromichaelmuhammad.com. Click on health, and you'll see the links to that organization as well as that site. So we, brothers and sisters who are listening, can participate in helping Brother Victer. Brother Victer, we have one more brother out of California, a brother named Jason. I'm going to get him on the line. Brother Jason, are you there, sir?
I am here. I am here, Big Mike. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir.
You're on live with Brother Victer Muhammad and myself. So what was your question you had asked before about the contact? Now, Brother Victer did give his email on a couple of times, okay? And did you have a question beyond the contact right now for Brother Victer Muhammad?
It was a two-part question, if you don't mind, Brother Michael. I know you're pressed for time.
Sure.
One,
Go ahead.
Do you mind traveling to Los Angeles? Of course, if we compensated you for travel to speak, it's more of like I want to say a college setting, but I'll just say at a town hall meeting just to be politically correct because I'm not sure what school yet. And the second part is we're going to do some videography and some promoting of the farm in Georgia this summer, God willing, depending on, the climate and the traveling. And I wanted to know, do you mind coming up there to actually educate? We have some A and B list celebrities that have kind of tentatively signed on, but I remember last time you were on Brother Michael's show, you talked about I specifically remember the Jersey cows, and we wanted to know, did you mind coming up there along with hopefully Brother Michael, if he has time, to try to get the entertainment and the black community involved with eating more healthy? Sorry for those range of questions.
No, it's no problem. And Brother Michael has been very generous in his media outlet in getting the word out to humanity, because what we as African Americans have to understand, those of us who follow the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and his representation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is that we have been given tutelage for humanity. Our job is not just to the African American. Our job is to humanity. And we limit ourselves, and we never realize just how powerful we are so long as we stay inside America trying to wrangle with the forces that are here. I'm not saying that we should stop, but what I'm saying is that we have a job that expands beyond the 6 million square miles known as the United States of America. Now, the answer to your first question is it would be my pleasure to do so. And you can contact me on that email address. Brother Michael, off air, Brother Michael can give you my contact telephone number. And but you can also contact me on that email address, brother. And the answer to your second question is it would be my pleasure to come. I have a farm also in the state of Georgia, and I'm not very far from, I assume you're talking about the Nation of Islam farm in Dawson, right?
Yes, sir. Dr. Ridgely Mumin.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So he's the farm manager. So yes, sir. I'm only a few miles from there. So it would be my pleasure to come there. So set it up, and inshallah, I'll be there.
Man, that's perfect. I appreciate it. Hopefully, Brother Michael can come do some narrating, because we have some
we'll
local celebrities that are.
Yes, sir. We'll coordinate with you, Brother Jason, off air, so that way we can get it there. And thank you for that.
Perfect.
Okay,
I appreciate you.
So, all right. Thank you, Brother Jason, and inshallah we'll continue to contact you. All right. That concludes those questions that I had coming up. Brothers and sisters, if you needed to contact Brother Victer, again, that email is Victer, VICTER, Muhammad, MUHAMMAD, @gmail.com. Please support lsow.org. And Brother Victer, we have about 10 minutes, and I want you to go with where you'd like to go with the conclusion of the subject. And I don't have any other questions per se. I mean, we always have questions on this subject, but I know there's some points that you probably would like to make or anything you'd like to promote. Please do so if you can at this moment.
Well, we'll go in the Spirit of God and go in the direction that He takes us. Thank you for giving me the liberty to do so. Now, there's one correction I'd like to make. That third website is healthatitsbest.org. Healthatitsbest.org. Now,
yes,
the subject that I'd like to address is the health of the African American, the Hispanic American, and Caucasian American, because these are all members of the human family and all members of humanity. And humanity as a whole is suffering because humanity lacks knowledge and understanding. We attend colleges and universities, but in fact, if we're honest, when we graduate, we really do not know what we think we know. We don't. And when I was a young man, and I was working at the National Institutes of Health in Washington, D.C., I was young in Islam, and, I wanted to challenge people because the knowledge and information that I have been given from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you cannot overcome that knowledge. And no matter how you wrangle, you can't defeat it. So what I would do, I would leave my lab in the National Institute of Dental Research, and I would go to the hospital on the campus of NIH. I would go and find the people with the PhD in nutrition. And these are supposed to be the best scientists in the world, according to U.S. News and World Report's rankings back in 1990. And so I would go and find the nutritionists at the hospital on NIH campus. And I would ask them, I said, what are the benefits of eating 3 meals a day? They said, well, you have to do that in order to be healthy, and you need that, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, what if I eat 1 meal a day or 1 meal every other day? They said, oh, you can't be healthy. You can't be healthy eating 1 meal a day. It's not possible. I said, well, let me ask you a question. How many times were you sick last year? Oh, I was only sick 3 times last year. I just had, the cold or flu or blah, blah, blah. I said, well, what if I told you I haven't been sick in 28 years with anything?
Wow.
No cold, no flu, no headache, no indigestion, no nothing. No chicken pox, no mumps, measles, whooping cough, rubella, polio, nothing. Now, this was 1990.
Come on.
And he said, well, that's impossible. I said, no, it isn't impossible. And I said, okay, look at your stomach. I said, you see how your stomach is hanging over your belt? I said, look at me. I'm the same size that I was in the 9th grade when I was 14. I was 28 then. So we're talking about 30 years ago. So let's move up 30 years. I'm still following the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. 30 years later. And if I did not have the civility, the refinement, and class that I've developed over those years, I'd still be doing the same thing. But I don't do that anymore because it's unstatesmanlike for me to challenge people like that just to conquer them, because that's what I was doing.
Yes, sir.
But today, 30 years later, I can still say the same thing. Get sick with anything. Nothing. And at 55, I'm still the same size that I was in the 9th grade. I have 5 sons. 4 of them are adults. When we walk down the street together, you can't discern me from my sons.
Wow.
Now, am I giving you this information to pump up myself or to be braggadocious? No, I'm not. I'm giving you this information to certify the efficacy of proper eating and proper diet. Indeed. You don't have to be sick. You don't have to take medicine. You don't have to die the way that you're dying. All the decisions that we make on a daily basis, they write our future. If you want to change your health, to stop taking medication, stop getting sick, whatever people are dying from right now that's being called COVID-19, you don't have to. The immune system, when it is healthy, can fight off any kind of infection that you get. How do you know that, Victer Muhammad? Because mine has done it.
Well,
so that's all I'd like to say, Brother Michael.
Brother Victer, you have a treasure trove of data. Now, me being a brother who's battled fat cells for my entire life, you had mentioned something earlier, and I know I'm sure it'll be a lengthy subject, but you had mentioned something about fat cells and the gene for it. Obesity is one of the hardest subjects to deal with health-wise for those of us who struggle with it. Now, of course, eating more than 1 meal a day is going to cause obesity. Eating the wrong types of food was going to cause obesity. Is there, other than those two, is there a gene, or you had mentioned there is there a way to manipulate that gene so that the fat cell can be reversed, and so people can lose weight that way? Have you ever seen research in that arena?
There probably is, but it's not necessary. My advice is never to manipulate the human genome. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't bother it, because those things are in place. And what we found when I used to make genetically engineered mice and rats and rabbits, when you insert a gene, then many times you knock out a gene. And the gene that you knock out could be a gene that's necessary. You wouldn't want to knock out the gene that codes for the heart, would you?
Not at all. No, sir.
Okay. So now, I have a section in my book published in 1998, and it is the No Excuse Diet Plan. It's
yes, sir. I
book.
see it right here. Yes, sir.
If you read that section, that chapter, it eliminates any reason that a person can give for weight gain. There is only one reason in the universe to gain weight, and that is because of what you eat. You hear people say, well, I have a gland problem. Well, here's my response to that. Even if you have a glandular problem, if there was no food in your stomach with which the gland can overact, then you would not gain weight. The gland can overact all it wants, but if there's no food there, the gland has nothing with which to overact.
Yes,
okay, you can say, well, my weight travels in my genes. Same argument. A gene can only code with nutrition, meaning that if you take a man building a house and using bricks, he can have his trial, he can have the cement, but if he doesn't have bricks, he cannot build a brick house. So transfer that into your genes. You can have the genes that code for weight, but without some bricks, meaning food in your stomach, then the gene has nothing with which to work. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay. So as the best and only way that I know to safely lose weight or not gain weight is to stay away from the table. It's just that simple. You don't need a pill. You don't need no gene, nothing. Just stay away from the table. Now, one of the main things that causes you to eat is stress. The average American is under stress. I don't care who you are. The average American is under stress. Stress stimulates the enzymes in the stomach. Stress stimulates the little pumps in the stomach to start pumping out hydrochloric acid. When hydrochloric acid is pumped out of the walls of the stomach into the stomach cavity, then that causes you to get hungry. You get a burning sensation in your stomach, and that leads you to want something to eat to kill that burning sensation. You have to slow down. You have to slow your pace. You must stay away from people or situations that agitate you. Don't do it. Don't go around someone who's going to incite you. You see, when a relationship becomes aggravative, whether it's a marriage, a boyfriend, a friendship, a job, if it becomes aggravative, then you must leave that relationship. You can't find an amicable way to do it because it's going to stimulate anxiety. Anxiety is going to stimulate stress, and you're going to start eating.
That's the equation.
It's simple.
That's the equation. I see that in your book, The No Excuse Diet Plan. Brothers and sisters, again, please support our guest tonight. There's many ways to do it, lsow.org. But this book that Brother Victer is referring to, I'm looking at that very chapter in the book on Kindle. It is titled The No Excuse Diet Plan. It is somewhat in the middle of the book, and it's only a couple pages, about 2.5 pages, the book, the section of that book. And it's exactly as you stated 20 years ago, Brother Victer. This is exactly what you were stating on with us tonight. And many other health advice and many other things. It's called Moments in the Mind of a Minister. Just simply type in Victer, V-I-C-T-E-R, Muhammad, M-U-H-A-M-M-A-D on Amazon. Most phones and most tablets have a Kindle reader. Brother Victer, we got 1 more minute. Do you have any final comments or anything you'd like to tell the audience?
Thank them for logging in. Continue to listen. And we will be doing another interview soon. And you're going to want to hear this interview. And I'm not saying that to be marketable, because if I wanted to get rich off what I was doing, I would have remained in science and research, because I would be a multimillionaire with what I've been blessed. But I didn't want to get it that way. So we have a subject that's coming up that's going to address a component of the coronavirus, and also it's going to address vaccines, but it's not what you think. So keep your ears to Brother Michael's network, and we'll be getting in touch with you. That's all I have.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Brother Victer. Yes, he'll be back again. This is information that we have to hear. Brother Victer, I want to thank you once again for being a guest here on the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. May Allah continue to protect you, guide you, and give you wealth and health. In the greeting words of peace and paradise, we want to leave you as we greeted you. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Thank you, Brother Victer. Brothers and sisters, that is Victer Muhammad, the biomedical research scientist, the agricultural and animal research scientist. He will be back to discuss the coronavirus in its specificities and other aspects of this. I advise you, brothers and sisters, to continue to support the show by going to bromichaelmuhammad.com. Again, that's bromichaelmuhammad.com. Go to shop, buy something. But we have links to everyone and everything, including our guest last week and our guest coming up next week, Brother Stanley and Sister Ruth, AYSAVP.com. That link is on the business section, business directory. Brothers and sisters, you can look at the podcast also by going to the podcast section, if you would, of bromichaelmuhammad.com. Go there and listen to these shows. Support everyone that is part of the Nat Turner Library Radio Network. I thank Brother Victer, I thank Brother Erica Hod, and I thank Brother Jason and Brother Stanley for participating in the question and answer session. Come next Thursday, brothers and sisters, Betrayed, Part 2, the broken American immigration policy. We're going to talk about the after effects and the effects of the war that that Brother Stanley and Sister Ruth have experienced. So come next Thursday, same channel, same time, Thursday, 7 p.m., Betrayed Part 2, 515-605-9762. And then on the 2 Sundays from now, we're going to have Sister Avon. Brothers and sisters, you're listening to the Nat Turner Library Radio Show. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Nat Turner Library Radio.
Nat Turner Library Radio.